Joining me in our session titled Dynamics GP plus U Options Going Forward is Jason Buckingham, who is our Dynamics GP Practice Lead, and Nicole Chorney, who is an Account Executive here at Encore. So thank you both for joining us today, and I will pass it over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Tess. So today we're going to talk about the future of Dynamics GP and Microsoft's plans for the solution moving forward. I know me and Jason are really excited to be here with you all this morning, so we appreciate you joining us to kick off this track. There's been lots of information released over the last couple of years just in regards to where GP is heading, and the goal today is really just to help our clients gain some more clarity on the roadmap and just the future of the solution, to allow you and your organization just to make the best decisions on what's right for you guys. So in regards to the agenda today, these are just a few topics that we're going to discuss in today's presentation. So we're going to talk, like I said, about the GP roadmap and what the future of that looks like. Some of the options moving forward, if you're interested in trying out Dynamics 365 Business Central, we're going to talk a bit about a trial that's available for you. We're also going to talk about the risks of not upgrading GP and how Encore plans to support you in whichever direction that you choose to head in. So now I'm going to pass it on to Jason, who's going to talk a bit about the GP roadmap.
Thank you, Nicole. So a lot of us are probably pretty familiar with the traditional GP roadmap that's been presented from Microsoft year over year, where they lay out the naming convention of Dynamics GP out a couple of years, and we've been used to seeing this. But we also know that there's been a lot of information going around about the GP future, and we all want to know where Microsoft is taking this. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the old roadmap and what the new roadmap for GP looks like, and also clarify kind of what does the next 3 to 4 to 5 years for Dynamics GP look like for us Dynamics GP users. So again, on the old roadmap, we're very familiar with GP naming conventions being GP 2016, GP 2016 R2, GP 2018, 2018 R2, and then in the year 2019, Microsoft kind of flipped the script on us. So they changed up the naming convention altogether. So all versions after GP 2018 R2 are just called Microsoft Dynamics GP. Okay, there is a version number tagged to it, but the naming convention going forward is just Microsoft Dynamics GP. Okay. So what it looks like going forward from 2019 on is going to be on this new modern lifecycle roadmap. Okay, so Nicole's going to speak a little bit about the differences between the old roadmap and the new modern lifecycle, or the old Microsoft support plan and the new modern lifecycle support plan going forward. But just to show you a little bit about the roadmap and what this means for you as a GP user, is Microsoft is now releasing, instead of giving us the information about what they plan to release in future versions, they're just committing to a certain number of releases every year, and they're going to be taking those on more on an ongoing basis rather than a large commitment for those bigger releases. All right, and we can see here that this release from Microsoft is showing us that they are committed to further enhancing Dynamics GP out to the year 2024 is what we know today. And we are hoping that every year when they release this modern lifecycle roadmap, we're going to see more years after that. But this is what they've given us today. One of the main things to understand about this modern lifecycle roadmap is in the far right column here for Microsoft, is that to stay current, you must be on one of that year's service pack releases or update releases to be eligible to update one of the next year's releases. So Nicole's going to talk a little bit more about this, but the main takeaway of the roadmap of the modern lifecycle should be that Microsoft is committed to Microsoft Dynamics GP and future enhancements out to at least 2024 at this point, and that anything after GP 2018 R2 is going to move you to this modern lifecycle roadmap And I'm going to hand it back over to Nicole right now. She's going to talk to you a little bit more about the differences between the new modern lifecycle policy and the old mainstream support policy.
Thanks, Jason. So many of you who have been on GP for some time, we know that upgrades are just part of the game with any sort of software. Most of you guys are used to that. And you may also know that once Microsoft releases a new version, they provide mainstream support for 5 years. So this basically means that for the first 5 years of the version that they're releasing, they're still releasing fixes for it. So after the 5 years is over, Microsoft is considering it kind of older technology, and they're no longer supporting it. So this is why we tell our clients usually to plan for an upgrade about every 2 to 3 years. And this is just to avoid being off mainstream support and to avoid using an expired solution. So of course, this usually results in most of our clients planning, costly and timely upgrades just to stay up to date and stay on an up-to-date solution. So now Microsoft has introduced what Jason referred to as the modern lifecycle policy. And this means that basically once you're on any version after GP 2018 R2, you will now be on what they call the MLP, Modern Lifecycle Policy, which only requires you to apply one update or service pack to be supported. So no more 5-year support plans. As long as you apply that one service pack, you will be supported. In addition to this, Microsoft has also decided to release a mid-year update, a feature update, and a year-end update. So there's also going to be hot fixes released throughout the year as well. So the 3 releases noted on the slide here. So June is going to be the mid-year one. October is the mid-year one. That one's going to be more your feature update. And then December is going to be your year-end update. So again, they'll still be releasing hot fixes and bug fixes. And you're not going to have to worry about that 5-year support expiry because it doesn't exist anymore once you're on any version after 2018 R2. So the next thing we're going to talk about, just kind of shifting over a bit, is just talking a bit about where you want to take your solution moving forward. So there's quite a few options that we're going to talk about. So the first option is to migrate to a solution such as Dynamics 365 Business Central in the cloud. So this allows you to increase your return that you're getting from your Microsoft investment. It allows you to control your costs and complexity and also improve your IT productivity, along with a whole host of other benefits. And Encore really wants to help you make this transition as smooth as possible. So we have a whole team of resources and tools available to help you, and we'll be there with you throughout the entire process. But that would be kind of the first option, is to switching to a true SaaS solution. The second option that we'll talk about is upgrading your GP environment to experience what's called intelligent insights, or the intelligent edge, which Jason is going to talk a bit more about in a few slides. But essentially what it is it's staying on GP, but being able to experience some of the features of Business Central, should you ever choose to transition there somewhere down the road, even if it's not right now. So with this option, you have the ability to host your Dynamics GP environment in a cloud environment through a cloud service provider such as Encore. So again, this allows you to experience what working in the cloud is like, still having full control over all your information. And then you can move your GP instance to, moving your GP instance to the cloud provides many benefits, like not needing to manage any infrastructure, and we even take care of the backups for you. So it kind of just takes that off of your IT team, and we would manage all that for you. And then finally, the last option is there definitely is the option to still stay on GP with your business ready enhancement plan. Should you choose to remain where you are, that is still an option. We don't want you to think that it's not. But yeah, great option in case you're still deciding on which direction you kind of want to head. But yeah, that is definitely still an option. So I'm going to pass it back to Jason to talk a bit about the Dynamics 365 Business Central trial that's available to all of you.
Yeah, thank you, Nicole. So some of you may have been aware that there is a trial of Business Central that is available to you through Microsoft, and there's also some tools within Dynamics GP once you get to GP 2018 R2 or newer that's going to let you exercise that trial within Dynamics GP, and it'll help you mirror your data and help expedite the whole configuration of what you have in GP today into a trial of Business Central, and it'll give you the opportunity to get in and play around with Business Central and get more familiar with what that tool actually is. So with a 30-day trial of Business Central, there's just some things we recommend that you consider before starting this trial. First and foremost, we recommend that you lay out a plan of what you want to learn. 30 days seems like it's a lot of time, but you're going to be surprised that once you get started and the questions you have and the amount of time you have, in addition to your daily workload, having a good solid plan on what you want to learn and how you're going to learn that in that 30 days is going to be essential. We do have experience with this, so if you do want help with planning out, what your trial should look like, certainly reach out. We're happy to help you here at Encore. And then we also recommend that through Customer Source that you locate and review some of the learning material that Microsoft has put out there about Business Central. Become familiar with the product before you start this 30-day trial. It's going to help you start this trial understanding how to navigate in the system and how to do some simple functions like posting transactions or reviewing information, right? So if you are looking for learning material through Microsoft Customer Source, or you have any questions about, maybe getting some training on it ahead of time, certainly again, let us know. But as Dynamics GP users, one of the things that we are also recommending is that you do explore the intelligent insights that's available through the Intelligent Edge. So I'm going to talk a little bit about these two components and what they mean for you as a GP user. So with GP 2018 R2 and newer, Microsoft has given us two tools actually. One is called the Intelligent Edge, and one is called Intelligent Insights. So what the Intelligent Edge is it's the ability it's a tool that will actually replicate some of your Dynamics GP data into a Business Central tenant, okay? So the information that it will replicate are going to be things like your chart of accounts. It's going to replicate your open balances in your chart of accounts, your customers, your vendors, and your open balances for AR and AP, and inventory items and inventory quantities on hand. So it will automatically replicate that data from GP into your Business Central tenant, and then it's going to allow you to use Intelligent Insights within Dynamics GP to view that information and look at things like new KPIs, new insights, new reporting options. And all of these things are things that Business Central can bring to you. And this is just a way for you to kind of explore those options within Business Central while still running Dynamics GP. So with Intelligent Insights, when you're on GP 2018 R2 and newer, you get this Intelligent Cloud Insights page within Dynamics GP. You may have seen this if you are upgraded already and maybe haven't turned on the Intelligent Edge migration. But this is what it looks like. When you're in GP, this is actually pulling information from a Business Central tenant, okay? And it's pulling the information that maybe you've put in there manually or you've mirrored from your GP instance that you have, okay? This Intelligent Edge Insights brings all of the information from Business Central back into Dynamics GP and lets you view it in ways that you haven't been able to view it before through some really powerful tools that are available to you now in the cloud. This visual here is just going to show a little bit about how the information is moving from on-premise solutions such as either Business Central on-premise, Dynamics GP 2018 R2 or newer on-premise, Nav on-premise, or if you remember SL on-premise. The Intelligent Edge takes your data from your existing system and brings it right over into a Business Central tenant, all right? There is some translation that happens because of the format differences between Business Central and Dynamics GP, but it does a pretty good job of it, and it helps expedite you getting off and running on looking at that information. Once that information is in your Business Central tenant, now you can start applying some of those cloud solutions to your data and then bring that data back in. Some of those cloud tools are going to be things like Stream Analytics, AI, Power Automate, Power Apps, web applications, Power BI, all of that information can be pulled and applied to your data within Business Central, and then it can be brought back into your Dynamics GP on-premise environment through that Intelligent Insights page for you to view and access. Okay. So that was just speaking a little bit about, there is a trial of Business Central out there available for you if you're looking at, maybe you're uncertain about staying on GP and moving to Business Central. If you are planning on staying on Business Central, if you're planning on staying on GP, or you're experimenting with the idea of migrating to Business Central, we still want to talk a little bit about the risks of not upgrading GP, or the risks of not staying current with GP. So these risks are pretty much the same as they always have been with any other Dynamics GP version, older versions. So historically, each version of software that Microsoft releases is typically compatible with 2 versions back. Okay, so if you're on GP 2016, you could go directly to GP 2016. But if you're on an older version, you obviously have to jump through a couple upgrades to get up to a more current version. With the new modern lifecycle, this requires you to apply that one service pack or that one update every year to be compatible with the next year's versions. And I know some questions that have come in off the top of my head with dealing with this is, well, upgrades are expensive, right? And now I have to do it every year as opposed to every 2 to 3 years, which is what was recommended before. The main differences between these updates that Microsoft is releasing today versus upgrades in the past is that Microsoft is pretty much done with all of the major large architectural changes to Dynamics GP. These upgrades are much smaller in code changes. These updates are much smaller in effort to deploy. So you're not looking at what you're used to for historical upgrades. You're looking at more service pack deployments. A lot of the companies that we're working with, they're foregoing test upgrades at all, and they're just applying it just like a service pack. So hopefully the cost savings is going to offset the frequency of updating every year. Okay. One of the risks that most of us have probably run into this last year is regulatory compliance. Okay. So with regulatory compliance, if you're in the US government has issued a mandate to report your 1099s on a separate document now called the 1099 NEC. Out of the box GP in prior versions does not have a solution for this. It only has the 1099 miscellaneous form. Okay, so Microsoft's solution for this was they made the updates and they gave the functionality to report 1099 NEC in the October release of Dynamics GP 18.3. And it will be available at the year-end update for GP 2016. But those are the only 2 versions that are going to have that functionality to come into compliance. So if you haven't applied one of 2019's updates, you obviously can't go directly to 18.3. We'll have to do a couple service packs to get you there. Okay, so staying current is going to allow you to automatically apply service packs that address regulatory compliance issues. Annual payroll taxes are going to be another one. If you're doing payroll through Dynamics GP, Microsoft releases a year-end update. That payroll update is going to be considered one of the 3 required updates to stay current. So, and then there's also some security risks with not keeping up with modern office technologies. A lot of us ran into an issue when Microsoft released a security update to Microsoft Office, and it broke some functionality within Dynamics GP. There was a hotfix release for that, or the issue was addressed in 18.3 release. And again, if you hadn't applied one of GP's releases in 2019, it would have been additional work to get you there. So, and then we also had the multi-factor authentication debacle that happened with Microsoft as well, where clients were turning on multi-factor authentication to keep up with Office technologies. And it broke some functionality in some of the older versions of GP. Okay, so all of these risks together, in addition to the reduced cost of staying current on a more frequent basis, hopefully you can realize the importance of staying current with Dynamics GP, and we are absolutely happy to help you get on a path to stay current with GP if that's the road you choose to go down. Okay. So I'm going to hand it back over to Nicole now, and she's going to talk a little bit about how Encore can support you going further down any path that you decide to go down. We'll talk a little bit about how we're going to be here to support you.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, so now that we've talked about a few different options, I just want to kind of quickly go over all the different ways that Encore can support you. As Jason said, no matter which kind of track you choose to go down. If you do decide that a transition to Dynamics 365 Business Central is right for you, we have a whole team of highly skilled consultants that can provide a wealth of consultation and advisory services. This includes tailoring a solution that fits your company's needs throughout the analysis phase, and then, of course, assisting you in project planning and helping you build out an ideal solution that's going to work for your organization. And then also, if you're deciding on staying, on GP for now, that's fine. As we mentioned, GP's roadmap will continue, and Encore will be providing support for GP as long as we possibly can. We have Encore care packages available for different levels of support, like on demand, which is also known as pay as you go. We have a few prepaid service levels for companies who use a minimum number of hours per month. And then we also have an unlimited option, which is going to eliminate those uncertain support invoices that your company is receiving per month. So you're going to get unlimited support for a flat per user per month fee. And of course, as most of you know, we'll still be providing support in regards to your upgrades, enhancements, training, and consulting. So I always say if you ever need assistance with anything and you're not sure if Encore can help, I always recommend reaching out to your account manager. Because not only is Encore a Microsoft partner for your ERP and CRM systems, we also provide support in many other areas. So don't ever be afraid to ask, because if it's not something that we do, generally we'll be able to point you in the right direction. So just let us know. And I believe that's all me and Jason have for now. So thank you for joining us today. I'm going to pass it back to Tess to wrap things up.
All right. Thank you, Jason and Nicole. That was awesome. So now it's time to answer any questions that have come in from the audience. If you would like to submit a question to Jason and Nicole, please do so now in the control panel. But I will start with what we've received so far. So the first question is, did you say Intelligent Edge is available from 2018 or 2020?
The Intelligent Edge is available with GP 2018 R2 and later.
All right. The next question is, who do I contact if I need help starting my trial of Business Central?
You can reach out to your account manager. They can set you up. It's just a link where you basically have to put your email in there, and yeah, it'll give you the opportunity to test out that Business Central trial.
Perfect. What if we're still on GP 2013?
Okay, so if you're on GP 2013, that doesn't mean that you cannot get to one of the newer versions. The October release of Dynamics GP is 18.3. It's going to alter the upgrade path. So if you have been upgrading, you're going to understand that the upgrade path would be something like GP 2013 to GP 2016, from 2016 to 18R2, and then we can start applying those service packs to get you current. So it just means that there's going to be a couple more jumps to get you current, and then once you're there, it's going to be the one service pack every year going forward.
And we'll want to do that soon because 2013 is an expired version. So if something happens within the system, it's not a supported version. So Encore will do their best to assist, but there is certain scenarios where there's nothing we can do and an upgrade is required.
All right. Next one is, do we need to sign up with Business Central in order to use the link to Power BI and Power Apps?
Yeah, so that's actually a really good question. To use Power BI and Power Apps, you don't specifically have to be accessing your data in Business Central. Both of those tools do allow you to link up to data that's in a SQL database, but it's more intuitive as a SaaS solution to have that information in a cloud-based solution such as Business Central. all of those components kind of work better together in the cloud.
Perfect. Other than the benefits that you already mentioned, are there any others for moving to Dynamics 365?
Yeah, there actually is quite a few. I'm actually going to ask Nicole to run through, because I know when we were kind of going through this rehearsal, she had some really great examples of those benefits of moving to Business Central.
Yeah, so I have these conversations all the time with my clients. So yeah, I would say the biggest benefit, of course, one of the ones that I mentioned is that because it's a cloud-based solution, you are not having to run, any infrastructure in the background. All your backups and things are taken care of. We talked, Jason, we had a bit of a question about, Power Platform and things like that. It's very easily integrated with solutions like that. We can definitely tell that the world is heading in a cloud direction. And I think, proof is in kind of the solutions that Microsoft is releasing. One of the key, I guess, differences for GP users, something to take note of in regards to the accounting system in general with your chart of accounts. So GP is a segmented chart of accounts, and Dynamics 365 Business Central is a dimensional chart of accounts. So that's kind of another key difference. One other one that I can think of off the top of my head, so for Business Central, you're paying per user per month for your cloud solution. So your annual enhancement plan that you pay annually, that most of our GP users, have experience with, that goes away. So that goes away. You start paying per user per month instead. Anything that I missed?
Yeah, I'll throw out a big one.
Okay.
For me, the big one anyways, is that there's no more upgrades. The process of updating Business Central on an ongoing basis happens in the background, like your office systems, right? So you don't have all of that downtime like you do in Dynamics GP. You don't go through the lengthy and costly upgrade procedures that you do in Dynamics GP. So from a maintenance and an operation cost perspective, that's kind of a big one. That's a difference between Business Central and
I can't believe I forgot that one. Thanks, Jason. Yep. Yeah, that I would say is for sure the biggest one. Like I mentioned, GP clients have been doing upgrades for a long time. It takes a lot of time, it costs a lot of money, and it's tiresome. So
Yeah,
huge benefit is not having to do that anymore.
That's awesome, and we'll be covering those topics as well throughout the day today in our other sessions. So that's awesome. We have time for one more question. There's more that have come in, but we'll reach out to you individually if we don't answer your questions. But the last question that I'll ask you guys is, are we able to apply the service packs ourselves, or do they still need consulting services from Encore to install?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question as well. Just like the upgrades in the past, if you have the knowledge to do it, you can always do it yourself. You can access the downloads from customer source. But if you do need help with it, if you have customizations that need to be updated, if you have ISV products that you maybe don't know how to install, those are the services that we can provide. So just like any other service pack or upgrade in the past, you have the ability to do it, whether or not you have the knowledge and experience to do it. That's where we can step in and help. So
That's awesome. So I think we're at our time. So thank you both, Jason and Nicole, for answering those questions. Thank you, everyone.